Not everyone who smiles in your face is your friend. Some people in our lives take pleasure in causing harm and chaos. Think about it. You could be sharing moments, trusting someone, only to discover they are the very source of your turmoil. Are you dealing with someone who drains your energy, manipulates your emotions, or constantly pushes your boundaries? In today's video, we're revealing the 7 signs you're dealing with an evil person, according to Buddhist teachings. These aren't just minor flaws. These are warning signs that you need to protect your peace. 1. Charming and charismatic at first. An evil person often appears charming and charismatic when you first meet them. They seem friendly, confident and likable, which draws people in easily. Buddhism warns us to be cautious of these appearances because beneath the surface, such individuals are deeply self-centered. They use their charm to seek admiration and attention, but their actions are driven by self-interest. They may appear to care, but they're primarily focused on their own needs, often at the expense of others. This charm is a mask that hides their true manipulative nature. They flatter, make promises, and appear generous, but only when it benefits them. Over time, their self-centeredness becomes clear as they consistently put their desires above others' needs. 2. Controlling behavior. Another clear sign of an evil person is their controlling behavior. These individuals constantly try to dictate how others should think, act, or feel, using manipulation to get their way. In Buddhism, true peace comes from letting go and allowing others the freedom to be themselves. But controlling people can't stand losing control. They often disguise their controlling nature as helping or guiding others, but their real motive is to dominate and have things their way. They might tell you what to do, criticize your decisions, or subtly guilt you into following their wishes. This behavior often shows up in both personal and professional relationships, creating a toxic environment that stifles others. Recognizing this controlling nature is essential for protecting your boundaries and maintaining your independence. 3. Lack of empathy. A lack of empathy is a defining trait of an evil person. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is central to Buddhist teachings, which emphasize compassion and kindness. However, individuals with a lack of empathy are indifferent to others' emotions and needs. They do not care about the impact of their actions on others and often dismiss or minimize other people's feelings. This indifference allows them to hurt, manipulate, and exploit others without feeling guilt or remorse. They see people as tools to be used, rather than beings deserving of respect and kindness. This lack of empathy not only causes emotional harm, but also leads to a disconnection from the basic human qualities that foster positive relationships. Recognizing this trait helps you understand that their cold, unfeeling nature is not a reflection of you, but a deep flaw in them. 4th, master manipulators. How to spot and stop them. Evil individuals are often master manipulators who use cunning tactics to control others. In Buddhism, manipulation is seen as a form of deception that goes against the principles of honesty and integrity. Manipulators are skilled at reading people's emotions and using that knowledge to influence their actions. They twist facts, play mind games, and use guilt or flattery to get what they want, often leaving you feeling confused or doubting your own perceptions. They may act sweet and caring one moment, only to turn cold and manipulative the next, keeping you off balance. Their goal is always to have the upper hand, and they will go to great lengths to achieve it, often at the expense of others' well-being. Spotting a manipulator requires keen awareness. Look for inconsistent behavior, mixed messages, and emotional manipulation tactics. Setting firm boundaries and trusting your instincts are key to stopping their harmful influence and protecting your mental and emotional health. 5. Pathological lying. Pathological lying is a defining characteristic of truly harmful individuals and one of the most dangerous traits you can encounter. Unlike occasional lies that people might tell to avoid conflict or spare someone's feelings, pathological liars fabricate stories as a habitual, almost reflexive behavior. In Buddhism, truthfulness is a vital principle because it fosters trust, clarity, and authentic connections with others. Pathological liars, however, operate in a constant state of dishonesty, often blurring the lines between reality and fiction so seamlessly that it becomes nearly impossible to distinguish the truth from their lies. These individuals lie about anything and everything: small, inconsequential details, major life events, and even things that seem entirely unnecessary to lie about. Their deception isn't just about manipulating others. It's also about constructing a false reality that allows them to avoid responsibility, gain sympathy, or appear more impressive than they really are. This habitual lying becomes a tool they use to manipulate situations, escape accountability, and control those around them. For them, lies are not just occasional missteps, but a way of life. One of the most damaging aspects of pathological lying is the impact it has on the people around them. The constant dishonesty erodes trust and leaves others feeling confused, betrayed, and emotionally exhausted. Over time, their lies can create a web of deceit that traps everyone involved, causing deep emotional harm. Those affected by pathological liars often find themselves questioning their own judgment, doubting their perceptions, and feeling constantly on edge, unsure of what to believe. This gaslighting effect can have long-term psychological impacts, including anxiety, self-doubt, and a pervasive sense of instability. Pathological liars are also adept at mixing lies with just enough truth to make their stories believable, which makes their deception even harder to detect. They might lie about their achievements to seem more accomplished, fabricate personal stories to gain sympathy, or twist facts to manipulate how others view them. Their lies are often told with such confidence and conviction that even the most discerning individuals can be fooled. This ability to seamlessly weave lies into their narrative allows them to control how others perceive them and deflect any criticism or suspicion. In personal relationships, pathological liars can cause immense damage. They often promise things they have no intention of fulfilling, lie to cover up their mistakes, and create drama to keep others off balance. Their dishonesty is not just a personal flaw, it is a weapon they wield to manipulate, control, and maintain power over those around them. Friends, family members, and partners of pathological liars often find themselves caught in a cycle of hope, disappointment, and hurt as they repeatedly fall for false promises and deceitful behavior. Recognizing a pathological liar involves paying close attention to inconsistencies in their stories and patterns of dishonesty. They often contradict themselves, provide details that don't add up, or react defensively when questioned. When confronted with the truth, they may double down on their lies, shift blame onto others, or try to make you feel guilty for doubting them. This evasive behavior is a clear indication of their unwillingness to take responsibility for their actions or be honest with those around them. Protecting yourself from pathological liars requires setting firm boundaries and being vigilant about the information they provide. It's important to verify their claims independently when possible and to trust your own observations over their words. Remember, their lies are a reflection of their own issues, not a reflection of your worth or judgment. Keeping emotional distance, refusing to engage in their drama, and prioritizing your own mental well-being are key strategies for dealing with these manipulative individuals. Pathological liars create a toxic environment where truth and trust are constantly undermined. The best way to deal with them is to stay grounded in your own reality, recognize their patterns, and avoid getting caught up in their deceptive games. By maintaining your own integrity and refusing to be swayed by their constant dishonesty, you protect your peace and ensure that you remain connected to the truth in a world filled with their falsehoods. 6. Setting boundaries to protect yourself. Setting boundaries is one of the most crucial steps you can take to protect yourself from harmful individuals. In Buddhism, self-respect and the ability to maintain inner peace are essential practices. Boundaries are not just rules you set for others. They are a form of self-care that helps you protect your emotional, mental, and even physical well-being. People with toxic or evil tendencies often push and test these boundaries relentlessly, seeking to exploit your kindness, manipulate your decisions, and control your actions. Establishing clear boundaries involves recognizing your own needs, values, and limits, and having the courage to communicate them firmly. For example, if someone constantly criticizes or belittles you, setting a boundary might mean telling them that such behavior is unacceptable and distancing yourself if they continue. Boundaries can be emotional, like refusing to engage in arguments that leave you drained, or practical, such as saying no to unreasonable demands on your time and energy. They are vital for maintaining your sense of self and protecting your peace. People who lack empathy or exhibit controlling behaviors often see boundaries as a challenge rather than a limit. They might react with anger, guilt-tripping, or attempts to undermine your resolve. For instance, if you tell a manipulative person that you won't tolerate their lies anymore, they might try to gaslight you, saying you're overreacting or being unfair. These reactions are attempts to break down your boundaries and regain control. It's important to remember that this behavior is not a reflection of your boundaries being unreasonable, but of their unwillingness to respect you. Setting boundaries isn't always easy, especially when dealing with individuals who constantly push back. It can feel uncomfortable or even confrontational at first, especially if you're someone who naturally avoids conflict. However, boundaries are not about being harsh or unkind. They are about preserving your own well-being. You have the right to protect yourself from behaviors that harm you, even if the other person tries to make you feel guilty or responsible for their reactions. Boundaries also serve as a way to show others how you expect to be treated. They clearly communicate that you respect yourself enough not to accept mistreatment or manipulation. In Buddhism, this reflects the principle of right action, choosing behaviors that support harmony and mutual respect. When you set and uphold boundaries, you're not only protecting your own well-being, but also helping create more balanced and respectful relationships. One of the keys to healthy boundaries is being consistent. Once you've drawn a line, it's important to stick to it. Being consistent helps reinforce your limits and stops others from testing or crossing them over and over. For instance, if you've chosen not to engage with someone who constantly criticizes you, staying firm with that choice sends a clear message. Disrespect is not welcome, no matter how often they try to pull you back into the same cycle. Setting boundaries is deeply empowering. It's a way of reclaiming your space and reminding yourself that you deserve to be treated with care. It helps build strength against harmful behavior and supports a healthier sense of self-worth. Some people might never honor your boundaries, but staying true to them shows you're committed to your own peace and mental clarity. Always remember, taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary for living a mindful and balanced life. Boundaries are not walls. They are guides that help shape healthier, more respectful connections by clearly defining what you will and won't accept. People who respect your boundaries will usually respond in a positive way, appreciating your honesty and clear communication. But those who keep pushing or ignoring your boundaries reveal their true colors. They show you who genuinely cares about you and who is only interested in control or manipulation. It's also important to be kind to yourself as you set boundaries. Self-compassion matters. It's okay if your boundaries evolve over time. They don't need to be perfect right away. What matters most is your intention to protect your peace and emotional health. Setting boundaries is part of learning about yourself. It teaches you how to listen to your own needs without carrying guilt. Remember, boundaries don't just protect you, they also serve as a quiet but powerful message to others. They show that it's okay to value yourself and encourage others to do the same. In a world where many people find it hard to say no, your boundaries can inspire others to honor their own limits. This creates a ripple effect of more respectful, honest, and caring relationships. Boundary breakers are those who continue to cross your limits, showing little concern for your space or your feelings. In Buddhism, honoring boundaries is a key part of peaceful relationships. It reflects the understanding that every person has their own space, rights, and personal needs. But boundary breakers completely disregard these principles. They cross the line, invade your space, and act as if they're entitled to your time, energy, and personal life. This often leaves you feeling drained, disrespected, or even violated. These people usually start small, maybe by dropping by uninvited or cutting you off when you're focused, and slowly move on to more serious intrusions. They may brush off your feelings, ignore your boundaries, or even make you feel guilty for having them. For instance, if you say you need some alone time to recharge, they might mock your need for space, call you selfish, or insist on being around anyway. This repeated boundary pushing is often a way to take control and leave you feeling powerless. Sometimes boundary breakers mask their behavior as care or concern, saying they only want to be close or helpful. But their actions continue to cross your lines and ignore your choices. They might act offended or hurt when you stand firm, turning the situation around to make you feel like you're the one being unreasonable. This kind of manipulation is meant to wear you down and make you question your right to protect your peace. It's a subtle but powerful way to gain control in the relationship. In Buddhism, honoring personal boundaries is a vital part of showing self-respect and taking care of your mental and emotional well-being. But for boundary breakers, these limits are seen as roadblocks to their control. They might frequently disrupt your plans, place constant demands on your time, or expect immediate responses without considering your needs or schedule. This kind of behavior goes beyond simple rudeness. It's a direct challenge to your sense of self-worth. Dealing with boundary breakers requires firmness and an unwavering commitment to your well-being. The key is to communicate your boundaries clearly and assertively, without feeling pressured to over-explain or justify them. A direct statement like, "I need you to respect my space and time," is often more effective than lengthy explanations, which boundary breakers may twist or argue against. Concise and consistent communication reinforces your limits and sends a clear message. You are serious about protecting your peace. It's also important to understand that boundary breakers rarely change unless faced with real consequences. This might mean reducing contact, limiting certain interactions, or walking away entirely when your boundaries are repeatedly violated. Your inner peace is more valuable than preserving a relationship built on disrespect. Yes, this can be especially challenging when the person in question is a friend, family member, or colleague, but your mental and emotional health must come first. Boundary breakers often target empathetic, kind individuals who struggle with confrontation, knowing they are less likely to push back. But standing firm doesn't make you cold or unkind. It means you respect yourself enough not to accept behavior that harms you. It shows that you value yourself and that you won't allow others to take advantage of your goodwill. When you hold firm, you teach people how to treat you. You reclaim your power from those who may try to diminish or manipulate it. Always trust your instincts when dealing with boundary breakers. If someone consistently makes you feel uncomfortable, pressured, or disrespected, that's a clear signal. They are not honoring your boundaries, and that's not something to ignore. Trusting yourself is the first step toward breaking free from their influence and surrounding yourself with people who respect your limits. Remember, boundaries aren't just rules or lines drawn in the sand. They are living expressions of your worth. They reflect how deeply you value your well-being. Recognizing the signs of a boundary breaker is an act of self-love. While Buddhism teaches us compassion and kindness, it also teaches discernment, mindfulness, and the importance of protecting our energy. It is not only okay, but necessary to distance yourself from those who drain your spirit or disrupt your inner peace. Your well-being is worth protecting. Your peace is sacred. Thank you for watching. If you found this message insightful, please like, subscribe, and share your reflections in the comments. Let's keep walking this path of awareness and balance together. Until next time, stay mindful, stay grounded, stay true.